Hey guys, what's going on? It is the Teeyaskipper here, and happy Friday. I'm not sure when I'm gonna post this video, but it's Friday today, and I just wanted to share something with you guys that's been on my heart, particularly last night. I want to talk to you about pacing, okay? And I understand that many people talk about this. We understand the importance of going at our own pace, but we need to ruminate on really why it's important. It's not just important to go at your own pace because you're in your own lane. Like, that's still kind of an egoic thing to say. Even though it's true, you can be in your own lane doing your own thing. That's not necessarily why it's so important to go at the pace that feels natural for you. The reason why it's so important to go at the pace you're being unctioned to go at is because you're building something. It's not even about a lane. Like when you think about that example of like, I'm in my own lane, that still implies going fast or going or movement, right? It still implies movement. But sometimes in our process, it feels like we're not moving at all. So say for instance, you're at a space in life where you feel like you're at a standstill. You couldn't use that analogy of like being in your own lane and stuff, because lanes are indicative of moving, of driving, right? But what if you're in a place in your life where the pace you're at is planning, where you shouldn't even be in the car yet in your own lane? Maybe you're still trying to even figure out where you're going. So if you're at a place where you're figuring out where you're going, you don't need to be reaching for car keys to get in your own lane. You get what I'm saying? You may need to sit down at a table and pen and paper may be your portion. Right? So you can say, I ain't worried about nobody else because I got my own pen and paper. Like, don't run to the I'm in my own lane thing, because we're not ready to drive yet. It's time for us to sit down and look at our lives and look at who we are and where we are and what we've done and where we're going and where we want to go. Who do we want to be? And so the pacing that you may be annoyed about, that I get annoyed about, I'm sharing this because these are my own lessons, is really because you're building something. And that pace that you want to go, that pace that makes you feel like you're not being left behind, that pace that you want to go in that makes you feel like you fit in with the friends you have because they're getting married or they're progressing in their business, that pace that you want to go at that will make you feel like you belong, you can't do that right now, because right now you're building. Like you're still discovering. You're in an honest place with yourself, and you can't run without the information. So there's going to come a point in time where the momentum will pick up. There's going to come a point in time where we'll be dreaming about the days of like, I remember when I had so much more time on my hands, you know? So really be grateful about this time, because there's going to come a time, if you don't quit, if you stay consistent and develop your God idea, there's going to come a time where you can't stop getting phone calls. But while your phone is dry, while you just feel like it's just you and you, that's the time to build. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to build and it be powered by anxiety. And I'm sharing this with y'all because I was noticing that with myself. Like, I was still moving so fast. I was still trying to get so much stuff done in my day. Like, the way I would know that I was done with my day is if I was burnt out. It wasn't, okay, I'm just going to do 3 things. I'm just going to do 3 things today. Once I get those 3 things done, then I'll be done and I can, I'll be done for today. That's not how I was doing it. It was like, I'm going to go until I'm dead. And then I'm going to wake up in the morning and do the whole thing again. I'm going to go through the days until I feel like I have absolutely exhausted all life source energy in my body. And then wherever I fall, I'm going to go to sleep there and I'm going to wake up and do it again. That's what I was doing. And as much as that may have gotten me somewhere when I was younger, it still was not as beneficial as I thought it was. And it definitely does not work now. And so as I was getting frustrated that I was moving so fast and putting so much effort and investing so much into things, and I feel like it wasn't growing or moving as fast as I wanted it to, I'm like, and this is how I talk to God. I don't know how y'all do, but I'm like, God, like, what's going on up there? Like, do y'all need help? Are the prayer requests too long? Are y'all backed up? Is it by appointment only? Because at this point, I'm doing what I know to do. I'm calling this person, or I'm asking about what I don't know to do, and I still don't know what to do. Like, help me. Help. I'm sitting saying help. And as I was just sitting in that frustration, because a lot of times I be frustrated on the go. Because I be feeling I don't have time to sit still and be frustrated. I got to go to the post office, or I got to go to the office, or I got to go edit this video. And so I would just carry my frustration with me. But yesterday, and really this past week, I just couldn't. It had become so heavy that I wasn't able to move with all of that on my heart. And so as I was sitting with those thoughts, it came to me like, Tia, and this has come to me many times. It's come to me like, Tia, you're not going to speed up the process just because you've done everything you're supposed to do. It takes however long it takes. And so what I was thinking was like, okay, if I get everything done, if I do my part, if I like burn the candle on both ends and make sure everything is out and everything is done, then that's all life was waiting on. It was just waiting on me to do my part, and then this thing should take off. But life's not just waiting on you to do your part. There's so many parts that go into what you desire and who you are and what you're going to do in life. And even if you do everything you're supposed to do, you still have to do that every day. You don't get to just pick a day or a week and go balls to the wall super hard, and then life should yield you everything you want because that week you were committed. Commitment is the same thing as infinity. It's like until. It's like forever. It's like in spite of. I'm going to do this because I said it. Not because I'm tired, not because I don't want to anymore. Like, commitment is I know what to do, and I'm going to do what I know to do no matter what. And so I was realizing that a lot of my burnout and frustration was because I thought that I could manipulate my process being sped up if I did everything I was supposed to do. And then I was getting frustrated when I was seeing that that's not how things work. I did my part, and I was still waiting on people. I was still waiting on companies. I was still waiting to hear back. And for me, it was like, this shouldn't be because I've done my part. No, there are many parts involved. And so the next thing that came to me was like, slow down so you can build well. So when we talk about like, I'm in my own lane and all of that, I hear you. But for people who are you're building something, like you're starting a business, you are starting your life, like your desires, living from your expectations, not other people's. That's something that needs to be built. You're losing weight, getting in shape. Like, just if you're creating and building on a different identity other than what you were living in, that's something that has to be built. And so rushing to do that is more so about you wanting other people to see your mansion or your life built already. That's not about you. Because if you really were just focused on you and focused on the process, you wouldn't be so upset that it's taking long. You may hate that it's taking long because you want to show results now. You want to be able to flaunt it. You want to be able to prove it already. But things take time, and if you want it to be built well, you have to take your time. You have to work, and then you have to pause work. You have to go from having a plan and then having that plan be revised. You may go from having a budget, and now this budget has been exhausted, and now you got to go into figuring out ways to be able to increase that budget. Like, these are all things that people go through when they're building on their house or getting their house built. It never happens in the time that they want it to happen. And people think it should because they're like, I did my part. I got the loan for the house. I got approved. I found the people to build it. What's taking so long? It's taking so long because you're not the only person that's a part of your process. I know it seems that way because it may feel like my life isn't moving or going anywhere because of what I haven't done. That's a large part, but like, once you get the ball rolling, the ball rolls from you and rolls to other people who are a part of whatever it is you're building or you're doing. And so I had to sit in that like, Tia, you can't build anxiously. You have to put your roots down and be present with what you're doing and what you say you want to create. so that you can build it well, so that you can build it with integrity, and so you don't have to build it again. Like, it would be great to be like, oh yeah, I built this dope, amazing skyscraper in 3 weeks or a month, right? But look at what will happen if, because I built it so fast and allow people to come into it, start operating in it as if it was sturdy, and then something happened to it and the whole building comes down because it wasn't built well. I've got more damages now to cover than I had time to even celebrate. Like, now I'm liable. I got lawsuits against me, right? I've got probably deaths against me, like in terms of people that died. There's so much loss, embarrassment, shame, money wasted, now money to pay out. There's so much stuff on the back end that has come up against me now because I was quickly trying to get something up and trying to show it off. Like, the results that I got from trying to do it quickly, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth the consequences of that. And so I'm saying all that I'm saying to say that pacing or going with the pace of your life, that is for your good. And the pace that you may want to go, that may be more about people and how you want people to see you already, respect you already, feel bad about what they did to you already. That may be about that, okay? But building well, that's about love. That's a loving act of God towards you, to make sure that as you build this thing that you care about, build the desires that have been put in your heart, that it is built with love and care and the proper things that it needs. If you don't want genetically modified food, if you know that it's not good to eat processed food, all these things that are very easy and quick to produce and put out, and you got to have that same mindset when it comes to your life. You are a precious thing, not something that you should just pump with steroids and put out on display just because you want people to see you, choose you, like you, want you. You want to allow the natural time that it takes to grow something, so that when you're grown, you're healthy, it's sturdy, it's beautiful, and it's going to look beautiful, but once it's bitten into, it's going to taste just as good as it looks. You don't want to rush this thing just so you can look good, but don't taste or feel good on the inside. Many people face this all the time. Rich or poor, happy or sad, you're going to always have to come back to center. And center is like, let me make sure I'm in agreement with God. Let me make sure I'm in agreement with life. How do you know you're in agreement with God and with your life? You're going with the flow. Okay? How do you know you may be trying to force or push things further, farther, sooner than it's supposed to be? You're constantly frustrated. Okay? So the way you enjoy your process is by respecting it. I love y'all. And I'll see y'all the next time you see me.
But I missed you all the time you were gone. But it gave me forever this time.